on 7 News at 7. Severe weather in our area. We have team coverage tonight.
Developing dramatic video captured by viewers showing the strong winds and flooding.
One station, 7 News, getting an inside look at an apartment damaged from today's storms.
Only on 7 Video as crews rescue employees trapped inside a building by floodwaters.
Live and local for Carolina's family. This is 7 News at 7.
Tonight, homes torn apart in Spartanburg County. A live look at the Crown Point apartments. You're witnessing the tremendous damage there and all the heartbreak that comes with it. Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight for this continuing team coverage on the flooding and the storm damage. With all the power outages and the dangerous roads, schools and other groups are making decisions for tomorrow, so keep an eye on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, that'll be coming in throughout this newscast, Amy. And we're going to begin our team coverage with a live look at some of that damage in our area. In fact, maybe some of the worst of it. You see Scotty K standing by in Spartanburg County. Scotty.
That's right, Gordon. I'm here at Crown Point Apartments where we've seen some of the most damage today, and I just found someone who lives here. Tell me your name.
Laura Davis.
Are you guys coming out with your belongings? Did you come see the damage for the first time? Tell me what you were doing here.
I actually came here earlier today, but they've asked most of us to evacuate, so we're going to go stay with family tonight.
Did you have any major damage to your unit?
Fortunately, no. No, our unit is completely safe. There was no damage at all, so that was a plus. But there's a lot of damage to everybody else. So,
what was your initial reaction when you came here for the first time, saw everything? What was going through your mind?
A little bit in shock. I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was, but we'll make it through. You know, it's what we do. So.
We'll be praying for you. Thank you so much. Take a look at this drone video we shot earlier of this apartment complex. Of course, it's a lot darker out here right now, but take a look. This is what we were seeing earlier. It's what it still looks like for the most part out here, but crews have been out here all day long. They've left not too long ago cleaning up these trees that had fallen on the apartment complex, on cars, crushing people's vehicles, leaving them no way to get out unless they had another ride. And like you heard, they're staying somewhere else tonight. A lot of people who live out here have had to make arrangements staying with family or friends. Of course, we've got some shelters that are opening up tonight as well, so no one will be staying here. As you could see earlier, it's very, very dark. No lights, but you know, this is just one part of Spartanburg that was hit today. We also have another reporter on standby in Spartanburg County, and that's Melanie Palmer.
Pure destruction is what is left behind in some of the areas off of Main Street, or I should say West Main Street here in Spartanburg. An example of that is just right behind me here by one of these businesses, and this is just some of the damage left behind. Now, we told you earlier about flipped over RVs, some that had smashed into each other's, car windows that were smashed in, trees that were snapped like twigs, and that's just some of the damage. And now the people living around here and some of the business owners are facing the most difficult part, and that's cleaning all of this up. Now, over the past couple hours, we've been hearing chainsaws from people cleaning up the tree limbs that fell on their yard, or for some on their homes. But since it has gotten dark, that has since halted, and a lot of people around here say that's just going to have to wait until tomorrow morning when the sunlight comes back out. And for some public works officials as well, they're waiting on the cleanup too. We were here earlier this evening talking to some officials on the scene who told us today is more just about assessing the damage, going around the county trying to figure out what they're up against. They told me tomorrow is when the cleanup will be in full swing, that of which could take days, hours. It's hard to tell at this point. Now I'm going to have you pan right over here. We're up on this hill. You can just see pure darkness, and that's because the people living up here say they're without power. They told us it's been that way since this morning, since the storm hit, and they don't plan on that changing anytime soon. And if you saw some of the damage around here, you would definitely understand why. We saw some power poles that were just snapped in half and some power lines that were completely mangled together. So just more damage to add to this list of cleanup that has to be underway following the mess that this storm left behind. Live in Spartanburg, Melanie Palmer, 7 News.
Melanie, thank you. We have reporters live across Greenville County. First, we're going to go to 7 News reporter Ann Maxwell. She's been in Berea in Greenville County tonight where the roads remain dangerous.
I'm on Sulphur Springs Road in the Berea area of Greenville County. This is where there was a swift water rescue a couple hours ago. A tall truck from the Berea Fire Department got out about 30 people from their work at an auto shop and the Mosaic plant. All of those people are okay, but the flooding has continued to get worse. This part of Sulphur Springs Road behind me is closed to traffic. We've seen a lot of cars having to turn around. It's a fairly busy street here, and the flooding has only gotten worse since we were here early. I want you to take a look at the Swamp Rabbit Trail right here. The Reedy River is totally over its banks. It's flowed into that parking lot next door where those people had to be rescued earlier this evening. And if the rain keeps coming down like it is, it looks like it's only going to get worse. In Greenville County, Ann Maxwell, 7 News.
And I'm Ayla Ferrone here in Falls Park above the Reedy River. You heard Ann mention that just a couple of minutes ago. Let us show you exactly what happens once it gets here to the park. You can see that the falls are really just roaring. It's just white water out here, and the spray from how hard that water is falling over these rocks is coming up towards the bridge as well. Now, the city of Greenville putting out some official numbers saying that the water levels here are almost 13 feet high. They also say that the water is rushing at 5,400 cubic feet per second. So you see how fast it is. There's the numbers to back it up. Ann mentioned some of that overflow onto the Swamp Rabbit Trail. We saw much of that earlier, and we're seeing it along several parts of the Reedy River. The city even putting up some signs along the river to let people know exactly how quickly that water can rise and how dangerous it can really be. So make sure if you are coming out here to take a look at this really fantastic and incredible scene that the weather has created for us today, make sure that you're doing so safely. And again, we see that the river is overflowing on some sides, a little bit more upstream. There's parts of the Swamp Rabbit Trail and the bike trail that have been completely shut down because of flooding. So just remember that if it is shut down, if it's roped off, if it's a road that's barricaded that you're coming to, anything of that nature, it's really not safe for you to be going through that area. So please, we have said it over and over today, but we can't say it enough. Turn around, don't drown. We'll have another look at this for you coming up in the next half hour. For now, I'm reporting live in Greenville, Ayla Ferrone, 7 News.
Thank you, Ayla. And just into 7 News, Pickens County has declared a state of emergency. There are over 60 roads closed there due to all the flooding and the damage. Let's get right to Storm Team 7 meteorologist Malachi Rogers, who is keeping a really close eye on the rain totals so far and how much more we can expect. Malachi.
Yeah, and we've been tracking this rain throughout the day. It really started last night about this time, and we talked about the fact that it will be 24 hours of heavy, steady rain across the upstate and the mountains, and that's what we have seen. We are continuing to see rain in many spots in the upstate, including Spartanburg and Gaffney, Greenville, Lawrence, down towards Union, Anderson, Elberton, Georgia, over towards Royston, also over towards Hartwell and Tacoma. So again, we're still dealing with rain, and that's rain on top of the already saturated ground that we have. We picked up in many spots, and this is what you're seeing here, the orange and red colors, areas that picked up over 5 inches of rain, and every county in the upstate had at least one spot that saw these pockets of heavy rain. Gaffney and Cherokee County, Union and Union County, Spartanburg down towards Packlet in Spartanburg County, downtown Greenville, Simpsonville, and Malden, over into Pickens County, Pickens as well as Easley, both saw those heavy rain amounts. Look at this, over towards Oconee and Walhalla area, Clemson, Walhalla, also down towards Anderson, we saw heavy amounts of rain. And because of that, our flash flood watch continues through this evening. It's been updated to say 1 a.m. on Friday, but really it's going to be for a couple of more hours after we head into sunset and after we head into midnight, because the rain is still coming down. And we'll continue to see that rain at least till around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight in the upstate. So if you're traveling on roadways, on areas that are prone to flood or low-lying areas, be very careful. Temperatures will slowly drop through the 40s overnight as that rain moves out late tonight for both the upstate and the mountains. Once the rain moves out, some much colder temperatures are moving in, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Malachi, thank you. Remember, you can always take 7 News and Storm Team 7 with you wherever you are with the free app. You can stay updated throughout the day on the latest news and, in these days, more importantly, the weather. Just head to the App Store. You can search WSPA 7 News or WSPA Weather.
And next on 7 News, we go inside that upstate apartment complex torn apart by the powerful winds. Coverage of this 7 News weather alert takes you right into the heart of the damage now. We're going to take you inside and look at the Crown Point apartments in Spartanburg. Storm Team 7 meteorologist Dan Bickford was the first to show you that devastation.
This is the inside of one of those apartments that was hit by the storm. Take a look. This is what it looks like from the inside when you're missing part of your roof. Hole in the wall, water dripping through. You can see this is a living room of a gentleman's apartment, and we happen to have that gentleman here right now. His name is Calvin Alexander. Mr. Alexander, what was happening when the storm hit? What were you doing? What happened?
I was sitting in the back room watching TV, and I heard the lights blinking. I saw the lights blinking, so I said, "Oh, let me get up from here." So as soon as I got up, the wind came and blew my window out and blew the door off the hinges.
Let's take a walk here and show us. So this is the door right here that was blown off the hinges.
That was blown off the hinges, yeah. I was sitting right here on the couch. And I heard this wind. And I said, let me get up from here. It's like as soon as I got up, the window busted and the door was in the hallway.
Let's go to the bedroom right now. And this shows, I mean, this is an incredible view here too, and just shows how sometimes you can just be in the right place, because this is the master bedroom. That's the bed. And look where the headboard is. Cinder blocks fell from above.
They sure did. You know, and that piece just fell off too. That piece that was hanging right there.
Yeah, when we came through here earlier, that piece was hanging off.
Yeah, it was hanging. Yeah, it was hanging. We can't get into the bathroom. We can't get into the master bathroom because we got cinder blocks all in the hallway. So, you know. And I thank God that I'm still alive.
Well, this is just one example of the damage that was done around here. Jason's going back in here to take a look at the hole that is opened up in the roof. There are more than one unit like this, by the way, in this particular apartment complex with trees that are down. And you can imagine with that water pouring in.
Because they had us evacuate here because we had smells. We had smell of gas. Mm-hmm. So they had everybody evacuate, so.
So obviously they let everybody back in.
They ain't let nobody back in yet.
Well, I mean, at least into here to take a look around.
Yeah, well, I came back on my own. Because I wanted to see that anything else happened to the apartment.
That was our Dan Bickford there with some horrific damage inside someone's home. Still ahead on 7 News, a look at the flooding across the upstate. We're going to go to Anderson County.
And that flooding is ongoing across many spots in the upstate and western North Carolina. Take a live look over downtown Greenville, and you can see the Reedy River is really swollen, and we expect to see more rain across the area through the evening. We'll take a look at what impact that will have on your morning drive and the rest of your Friday coming up when we come back.
We'll continue with our 7 News alert tonight, tracking the damage from severe weather across this area. Our Asia Wilson's in Anderson County. She has more.
Well, we're here at the Saluda River in Pelzer, just off of Highway 8. As you can see, there is water, standing water at this particular boat ramp. Right now, crews are telling people to be very careful in this area. If you don't have a safe plan, it's best for you to have a plan in place. Now, earlier today, I was at the Anderson County EOC following multiple reports. Several of the calls were reports of flooded roads off of River Street. Many cars had hydroplaned in that low-lying area. And also around 1 o'clock today, Williamston Road crews told us around 8 streets were blocked off due to flooding. The county has also seen massive flooding at area parks like Mineral Springs in downtown Williamston. But I'm also told the most reports have been coming from North Anderson County, like Powdersville and Pelzer. We were at the Saluda River Dam, where one man says he has never seen anything like this before.
It ain't really been this bad since probably in the 2000s or late 90s, but it's pretty bad. I hope it don't get much worse than this, because the houses down here on the Mill Hill, they'll be up to their back doors when it gets the flooding this bad, you know.
Now, Anderson Emergency Management Services says that, again, right now there isn't an immediate threat to folks living in the Saluda River area, but they are encouraging 250 downstream homes to start working up a plan right now just in case things get worse. In Pelzer, Asia Wilson, 7 News.
And Asia and all of our reporters are showing you what the problem is this evening as we head into the overnight and into tomorrow. Those rivers and streams that have swollen because of the rain that we have are continuing to grow because we're going to see more rain through the evening. And of course, we're going to see rain that falls collect in those areas. So again, it bears watching over the next couple of days. Here's what we've seen so far as the local storm reports, each and every one of these circles, a wind report, a rain report, or even a possible tornado report. And as you see across the upstate and western North Carolina, we saw several, mostly high rain, high water, flood water in many spots, Pickens and Oconee counties. Spartanburg County, as we zoom in, high water, but also behind that, what probably was a tornado, may have been a tornado, as it moved through and brought devastation, knocking down trees and damaging homes in Spartanburg County. Here's that line. It came through, really the most active part of it happened around 10 or 11 o'clock this morning, and then that line slowly marched as we started here through the upstate between around 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock this afternoon. In its wake, we are still dealing with rain, we're still dealing with showers, and unfortunately in many locations we're still dealing with flood concerns. Heavy to moderate rain in parts of Pickens County, right around Easley. Anderson seeing some heavy rain down towards Greenwood and Abbeville as we move over towards Spartanburg and Gaffney. We'll also take a look at Union, where you're dealing with some showers right now. So we have these wet roadways, we have light to moderate rain falling, and it continues to pile up. We were forecasting anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain, and we pretty much saw basically 3 to 5 inches of rain in most of our recording stations. Spartanburg, the big winner, over 5 inches, over 4.5 in Greenville. Anderson right at 4, right around 3 inches in Asheville and Greenwood. And I say the recording stations because in many outlying areas, many communities, many homes, many backyards, many businesses, we saw more than that. As we take a look at our Doppler estimated rainfall over the last 48 hours, and really this is basically over the last 12 hours, look at these pockets of orange. Each and every one of these corresponds to at least 3, possibly 4 or 5 inches of rainfall in these locations. And areas like Oconee County, Pickens, the city of Pickens itself, Greenville County, just south of the city or along Interstate 85, down towards Malden, Piedmont. You take a look down towards Lawrence, Union, Spartanburg, Cherokee County, Gaffney, all saw heavy rain, flooding rains. And our last stop here, look at this, Rutherfordton saw around generally 5 inches of rain around the entire city. And all of that water is draining into the rivers, into the streams, and into low-lying areas. And for that reason, which is no surprise to anyone, we have flash flood warnings in many spots, including southern Greenville County, Pickens County, Oconee County, Spartanburg County, up towards Polk and Rutherford counties. In North Carolina, Union, Lawrence, Greenwood, Abbeville, and Elberton. So again, we want you to be very careful. This flood watch goes through 1 o'clock tonight because we're still seeing rain. We still have that water in place. In fact, showers are still going to be with us at least till around 10 o'clock tonight in the upstate, around 9 or 10 o'clock in the mountains. And again, that rain will start to move out. Spotty showers possible after midnight, and then we turn the page. We're going to see some much colder temperatures. The reason that we saw these strong thunderstorms throughout the day today was because we've seen this warm, humid air, and we have a cold front with much colder air moving in. Well, that cold air is now starting to move in, and behind that will clear out in the upstate. Any leftover moisture in the mountains may actually become snow early tomorrow morning. So we'll watch that and look at the dramatic difference from temperatures in the 60s and 70s to highs tomorrow and Saturday in the 40s for the upstate. We'll clear out as we head into the weekend. Milder temperatures will return on Sunday and Monday in both the upstate and the mountains.
What a change, Malachi. Thank you. Next on 7 News, you guys have been fantastic sending us your videos and your pictures of all the storm damage and what you've been seeing. We're going to take a look at some of those images that you shared with us.
Welcome back to 7 News at 7 as we continue our team coverage of severe weather in the area.
That's right. We count on you to help us cover severe weather like we saw today. And you've sent in incredible video, incredible pictures. Our Diane Lee takes a look.
Spartanburg County saw some of the worst damage. This video a viewer sent to Blackstock Road where a fence went down and so did a roof that collapsed. In Oconee County, houses like this one are surrounded by water. This is Avondale Road between Seneca and Walhalla.
My husband called, "Have you looked outside?" I said, I didn't. But I looked and I was like, oh my word. Yes, I'm nervous, scared, don't know what to do, you know.
Roads all over the upstate barricaded for safety. In Anderson County, Eric Whitfield sent this photo of a bridge on Shackleburg Road that was washed out. This is right near Highway 81. And back in Spartanburg County, Savannah King sent us this video near Westgate Mall, which is one of the hardest hit areas with suspected tornadic activity.
Still ahead on 7 News, that's severe weather in the upstate. Our team coverage continues. We've got live reports up next.
Now on 7 News at 7:30, team coverage is continuing tonight of the widespread rain and wind that caused so much flooding and damage. And again, we're reporting a number of school closures and delays for tomorrow, and they're rolling right now at the bottom of your screen.
Easy to find on our website as well. Spartanburg County, one of the hardest hit areas by the storm today, and that is where we find 7 News' Melanie Palmer standing by. Melanie.
Yeah, Gordon, this is just some of the debris left behind following this strong storm system that barreled through the area earlier today. And now some of the people I talked to around this area who either live here or who are business owners here off of West Main Street in Spartanburg, they tell us they're just happy that everybody is okay and nobody was hurt in this area. They do tell us, though, luckily a lot of these businesses did not have any people inside of them. There was also a church that had the roof peeled off of it. Once again, no one was inside there either, so they do tell us they are very fortunate. We did talk to one woman, though, who does not live far from here, who told us she was home during the time of the storm. She told us it sounded like a very loud freight train coming through for about 5 minutes, and then it was gone just as quickly as it came. There was some downed trees in her backyard, but she was one of the lucky ones. None of them fell onto her house, which is the case for a lot of people in this area. Just walking through some surrounding areas, a lot of downed trees on people's home, just to add to this cleanup list that starts tomorrow morning for a lot of people in this area, and of course for the county as well. And as this night continues and the rain just keeps falling at this point, you're urged, of course, to use caution, especially in these areas that were so hard hit that still have debris, just like we just showed you right down here. Reporting live in Spartanburg, Melanie Palmer, 7 News. Gordon?
Melanie, thank you. Amy here. Well, dozens of people are tonight very thankful to the rescue crews with the Berea Fire Department in Greenville County. Crews were called to a business for a water rescue. 7 News reporter Ann Maxwell has our story.
I'm on Sulphur Springs Road in the Berea area where it crosses the Reedy River, which is overflown, leaving some standing water on the roadway behind me, leaving it closed off to through traffic. This was the site earlier of a swift water rescue where the Berea Fire Department saved about 30 people from their workplaces at the Mosaic plant and an auto shop. All of those people are okay. They also saved 2 dogs from back there. The water since then has continued to rise. The assistant fire chief at the Berea Fire Department says they've been watching this all day.
What happens is as the water rises, the current gets a lot swifter, and that's what we were dealing with. We had been monitoring the level of the water here, and it kept rising, so we knew it was time to activate the team.
That swift water rescue happened around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Again, everyone was okay. They got everybody out in 2 trips. In Greenville County, Ann Maxwell, 7 News.
All right, Ann, thank you. Well, the weather has mostly moved out of the area tonight, the severe stuff, but we still are feeling some effects because the rain keeps falling.
Yeah, there may be rain for a while. Let's get a sense of that from Storm Team 7 meteorologist Malachi Rogers.
All right, thanks, Gordon and Amy. We are still dealing with showers across the area. Heavy rain in a few spots, but again, the strongest severe storms have absolutely moved out. We're still dealing with rain, though. Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Union, Lawrence, all seeing rain pickings and easily, and that rain extends back towards northeast Georgia from Elberton to Hart County. So again, we expect more rain on top of the rain that we've already seen. In many locations, many spots today, we picked up about 4 to 5 inches of rain just today, and that rain will continue to fall. Many locations, as we've mentioned throughout the day, are seeing flooding because these pockets of orange are areas that have seen over 4 inches of rain. Many of them seeing 5 and 6 inches of rain in these spots, and you'll notice just how widespread that is. All of that rain will eventually move into rivers and streams, and unfortunately that's going to keep the flood concerns and the flood risk up into the weekend. Now, as far as the flash flood watch goes, that's been extended to 1 a.m., but ideally, and again, everyone please be very careful. Early tomorrow morning, if you're traveling late tonight, if you're on those roads, if you're in areas that have a tendency to flood or even low-lying areas near rivers or streams, be aware. You could see runoff, you could see water in those areas. Temperatures will drop through the 40s this evening in the upstate, dropping into the 30s with colder air in the mountains. That's another story. We'll take a look at that coming up when we come back.
Thank you, Malachi. Remember, you can take 7 News and Storm Team 7 with you wherever you are, no matter the conditions. We'll update you throughout the day, of course, every time on the latest news and weather. Just head to the App Store, search WSPA 7 News and WSPA Weather.
We'll continue our Black History series, Hidden History, and take a look at the impact Black lawmakers have had on South Carolina's General Assembly.
Well, a very busy weather day across the upstate and western North Carolina. We had severe storms. We had the tornado warnings for a brief period today, and we've had some flood concerns across the upstate and the mountains. The flood concerns stay with us. And again, as we take a look at some of these reports, areas in Oconee, Pickens, and Greenville counties in particular, northern Spartanburg County also saw some flood issues this afternoon. We'll continue to see that around today and into the evening hours because we're still tracking rain. The one nice thing is that we're starting to see a little bit of a break from the rain in the northern parts of North Carolina, those high mountains, but we're still seeing quite a bit of rainfall over Greenville, over Spartanburg, down towards Greenwood, Lawrence, and Abbeville, and into Asheville, Rutherfordton, Lake Lure area, and Marion. So overall, we've picked up anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain from Spartanburg at a little over 5 inches to Greenwood, a little over 3 inches of rain. More of that to come as we go through the overnight. So the rain will come to an end. We keep that flood watch with us through 1 o'clock tonight. And again, floodwaters will still remain fairly high across the region. So again, areas that have flooded will probably stay flooded at least through the early part of tomorrow morning. So be very careful, especially if you're traveling before daybreak. Cold temperatures on Friday and Saturday. I don't want this to surprise you, and I don't want you to get shocked by this. We'll see highs tomorrow only in the 40s. And in western North Carolina, 40s will actually be our morning temperatures. We'll drop through the 30s during the afternoon. A big cold front moves through. That will clear things out, and we will eventually see a return of milder temperatures for Sunday and Monday. But it's that transition between warm air yesterday, storms today, and colder temperatures tomorrow. All of that was enough to really produce a lot of rainfall. And again, high rainfall amounts in general. Most of us, you see the yellow colors there? Those are areas that saw about 3 inches of rain. That's kind of the baseline. The more spots saw those 5, 6 inches of rainfall up towards Rutherfordton and Clemson, down towards Pickens and Oconee. We have a bullseye right there over Pickens. Down towards Anderson, we saw heavy rainfall amounts as well. And because of that, we have flood warnings that are going on right now. Many parts of Pickens County, Greenville, Spartanburg County in the upstate, down towards Union, Lawrence, Greenwood, and Abbeville. That corresponds and lines right up with our flash flood watch that goes through 1 o'clock. Again, more rain expected tonight, and those saturated grounds are what you really want to pay close attention to when you're traveling with those low-lying areas tomorrow morning. We're in the 50s through the evening in the upstate. Keep the rain jackets. Same story in the mountains, mid-50s through midnight. But the rain will move out after midnight. We'll start to see things clear out. Again, we mentioned that cold air. Clear and cold in the upstate tomorrow morning. Cold enough that we could see some lingering snow in the high mountains of western North Carolina, but expect mostly clear skies through the afternoon. So tomorrow's temperatures, as I said, are cold. We're staying in the 40s all day tomorrow. Grab the coats. You'll need them. Mid-40s for highs in the upstate. And in the mountains, we start in the 40s in the morning with clouds. We will clear out, but temperatures drop into the 30s during the afternoon, the high of only 38 degrees by 4 o'clock. You can clearly see where that difference is, those 30s and 20s, 60s and 70s, and we're right on the line, which is where we saw those storms develop during the day today. Clear skies, cold temperatures, 40s on your Friday and Saturday for highs. Sunny skies on Sunday. Mild temperatures next week as highs are back to the 50s in the upstate and the mountains.
Malachi, thank you. In honor of Black History Month, at 7 News, we've been working on special stories that show the contributions, accomplishments, and legacy of African Americans in South Carolina.
And this evening, Georgia Godfrey has a look at the role Black lawmakers are playing in the State House. She spoke to former and current legislators about the work being done and left to do.
After Reconstruction, the South Carolina legislature consisted of 63 members, 50 of whom were African American. And even though we don't see that same representation in the current General Assembly, the African American representatives and senators serving are leaving their mark on the state. 44 African Americans currently serve in the South Carolina General Assembly. And while it's a small proportion of the 170 total members, these men and women with different backgrounds, inspirations, and lessons are making big strides under the dome.
My dad founded a nonprofit organization in rural South Carolina area, Hampton, South Carolina.
Representative J.A. Moore is a state representative for Charleston County, but the young chef had his taste of politics early in Hampton County.
You know, first campaign I can remember working on, I was probably 9 or something like that, and Joe Riley ran for governor. And I was passing out bumper stickers with my dad on behalf of Mayor Riley. I went to school to cook, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I care about people.
Like Representative Moore, Bakari Sellers also drew his inspiration to lead from his father.
I'm a child of the civil rights movement. My mother and father were both active in the movement. My father was National Field Director for SNCC, involved in the Orangeburg Massacre on February 8, 1968.
Sellers became the youngest man elected to the South Carolina General Assembly at just 22 years old. Other lawmakers used previous experiences to hone in on the passion to lead, like Senator John Scott, one of the most senior African-American members of the General Assembly. The Richland County lawmaker recalls his time as a Boy Scout leader.
I was probably about 10 years old, and it was unheard of, especially in the South, for young African-American children to be involved in the Boy Scouts.
Senator Scott held a seat in the State House in the early 90s, when the dynamics started to shift and more African-Americans found themselves sworn in as elected public officials.
You got to remember there's a change in time between those of the 60s and those of us who would be the 80s and 90s. And so I kind of saw myself as a change agent. I came onto the House in 1991. I was the first African-American to even chair the freshman class.
Representative Moore is new to the State House, elected more than 2 decades after Senator Scott. Moore is part of a wave of new and diverse lawmakers in the State House. Lawmakers inspired by the need for change and the work of African-American leaders, currently serving in the General Assembly, like one of the longest-serving African-Americans in the House of Representatives.
I think at the top of anybody's list would be Gilda Cobb Hunter, just from all of the ground that she's kind of paved for the rest of us to come behind. So
these lawmakers also draw on the legacy of those no longer with us.
He didn't thrive off of titles, and so he was one that would let me get down and work with the people, find out what's going on in the communities. He was very hands-on.
Clemente Pickney was the youngest African-American elected to the State House at just 23 years old, a feat that seemed almost impossible for a young black child from Jasper County.
At the time, Representative Juanita White had approached him to run for her position because she was retiring, and he wasn't sure if he had wanted to do it or not.
Pickney served in the South Carolina General Assembly from 1997 until his death in 2015. The senator was one of 9 African Americans murdered in a racially motivated attack at the historic Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston.
And a lot of times you don't see politicians, legislators that are very hands-on like that. They're not going to go into the jails. They're not going to go into the poor communities. They're not going to go into the schools unless it's some big event or unless they're being recognized. And recognition wasn't something that, Clemente was looking for. He was looking to help people.
But even in death, Pickney is still inspiring the next generation of leaders.
My sister was ordained a minister. The reason why he was even in Charleston that night was because of that ceremony, and my sister asked him to stay for Bible study because she was teaching the Bible study that night. So Clemente remains to be singly one of the most important people of my life.
I feel like it allowed me to see the world in a new lens, not ways that normal kids get to see it. I was not only raised in the church, but I was also raised with a sense of political awareness.
But for more senior change agents like Senator Scott, it's not about how you get to the State House or where you came from. It's about leading the state forward and being a representation for black and brown girls and boys in South Carolina.
South Carolina has a rich history, very rich history. A lot of it has not been told. A lot of it is not so great, but it's up to us now to make it better.
Well, I firmly believe that you can't tell a young black child that he can be a doctor if he's never seen one. You can't tell a black child that he can be a black lawyer if he's never seen one.
You can and you must. We need you up here.
In Columbia, George Godfrey, 7 News.
Now, you can find this story on our website. You'll also find some newspaper clippings from that Reconstruction era, as well as a picture of some of the lawmakers highlighted in this story. And you can also join 7 News anchor Kimberly Brown for Hidden History, celebrating Black History Month. It's on WSBA Saturday, the 8th of February at 7:30, and also airing once again on the CW on the 15th at 9 o'clock.
Up next on 7 News, we'll check in with Sports Director Pete Yannity. He'll show us what's on tap, including a Clemson assistant coach moving to the head of the line.
Now on 7, we've had all of our 7 News crews tracking down reports of what the storm's done, but we also thank you, our 7 News viewers, because you've been sending in incredible videos and pictures of what you've been seeing.
Yeah, in fact, go to our Facebook page. There's incredible video there like this from Spartanburg. Mark Bordeaux sent us this video. Watch what's going to happen here. You're going to see they're standing in front of glass, and these giant metal signs will come flying up against it. This is on West Blackstock Road at the Ashley Furniture Store. Again, that metal street sign is hitting it, and you know that's going to be shatterproof glass, but still, that is a dangerous place for them to be.
Yeah, very scary scenario there. Also in Anderson County, Eric Whitfield capturing this moment. Take a look at the bridge on Shackelberg Road. It washed out. This is very close to the Highway 81 area. And Gordon, this is the kind of reason we tell you don't even approach a road. Even if it looks like it's an inch of water, you don't know what's underneath it. The road can be gone.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of other pictures like that from our viewers too, showing roads completely washed out, and in a couple of cases, cars that did fall into them while trying to drive. So it is very dangerous out there. Malachi standing by with another look at that forecast. It is still dangerous, Malachi.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to keep that danger level fairly high through the evening because we're still dealing with water, we're still dealing with rain, and unfortunately we're still dealing with the runoff from many of these streams and low-lying areas. We will dry out by tomorrow, which is good news, but it gets a lot colder. Highs are only in the 40s for Friday in the upstate and the mountains. Both Friday and Saturday are chilly days, but milder temperatures on Sunday. And again, we're still dealing with light rain tonight, so be very careful on the roads and the highways.
Sunday, aptly named. It's the one time you get to use that graphic on there. Malachi, thanks.
Thanks for watching 7 News at 7. We have a lot more coverage coming up on 7 News at 10 on the CW and back here at 11. See you then.
Have a good night.